Hello everyone, and peace of Christ all of you. I hope my voice coming good and clear. Please invite your friends and let us have some good time together. Today our topic is about the best scientists in the world. You know, the Muslims, they have tons of articles, uh, and even they claim that there is many scientists, they embrace Islam. If you look at the video info here, in the info I said Christians, they attack Prophet Muhammad when in fact he was the best and the top of his classroom, and he get his PhD in less than 8 hours. So when the Muslims, they speak about uh, science and scientists, and they have tons of articles and videos, how truthful what the Muhammadan they say? Do they have any base to it, or it is a fabrication? So this is a challenge for the Muhammadan, a friendly challenge. If anyone would like to call us, this is my link in Skype. All what you need, just a click in it and you will be joining us in Skype. So if you are a Muslim and you can show us any base of the claim, otherwise we accuse you Muhammadan to be liars, lying about what your prophet did and what he believed. So the challenge is very simple. Who is a Muhammadan can call us and show us if the claim is truthful or it is just fiction. Not only it's a fiction, it's a lie in purpose to lie, which means it's a premeditated what they call it, like you are lying, and you want to fool people about things that not even exist. So either they are sharing the truth, and I mean here the Muhammadan, or they are fabricating a lie, and the purpose is to fool the foolish one. And you know this world is full of foolish ones. But I find it very embarrassing that I claim that Muhammad is a person who brought science and his God so, but yet nobody dare to call us and to prove us in one scientific fact Muhammad he said. So feel free if you are a Muhammadan, otherwise we are going to be checking out your scientific claims in your articles. Even Muslims, they have books about it. As an example, Zakir Naik, Quran and modern science. But I can crush Zakir Naik and his book in 2 seconds. In fact, Amazon, some of you told me that they cannot find my book Quran and science in depth in Amazon for a long time. I'm going to contact Amazon soon, and I will see why they are hiding my book, and we will see what we will do with them. Science in the Quran, Muhammad is a person of science. So we call the Muslims to join us. If you are a person who is smart and you like to have a nice conversation and you like to convert Christians to Islam, I mean, this is your opportunity, because all what you need to do, point your finger at the scientific statement of your God and your prophet, and then people will be amazed and they will convert to Islam. And actually you will be able to do it right away, because remember, not only science on your side. If you are a Muhammad, Allah is on your side. I mean, if Allah is your God and he is with you, then who could be against you? And this is a statement is talking from the Bible, like, if God is with me, who could be against me? Before we continue talking, there is a Muhammadan, he made a statement. His name is Musa, and I find it very funny that Muslims, they steal everything, even names. So a Muhammadan who believe in a stone, his God is La, and then he called himself Musa, as Mushay. But if we ask him what Mushay mean, he do not know. He will tell you Allah knows best. But as usual, so Musa's they moaned. He said, "Are you nuts? You been transferred to fiscal analyst. Fiscal. You know what? I like this sentence, like fiscal thing. I think your prophet, he did fiscal analysis when he was watching the rats drinking milk. If you remember the hadith, where your prophet, he was, uh, he's a laboratory guy. I mean, this guy, he watched carefully. And I mean Prophet Muhammad, sorry. When I say this guy, sorry, I don't mean to disrespect, because I respect Prophet Muhammad a lot. So, analyst, psychoanalyst, the Prophet Muhammad, one of his discovery, as an example, and I hope the scientists who they are listening to us, they can agree or disagree, and maybe you agree, I don't know. So Prophet Muhammad, because he is a scientist and he is an observant, he found an astonishing discovery. And I will put it for you in the screen in a second. Fiscal. Oh boy. Let's see, Mr. Fiscal. So this is the hadith. Let us show it to you on the screen. And Mr. Fiscal Moses can help us with the science of the Prophet. Let us share it. The fiscal guy. I mean, we have to admit Muhammad is a fiscal man. So Muhammad the scientist, he was watching rats. And actually we knew that, and this is by the way a discovery, that scientists, they use mice and rats to study science. Can we deny that? Who of you can deny that? Nobody. So Prophet Muhammad, obviously, his house was full of rats. And it was because it was a laboratory. The Prophet said a group of Israelites were lost. Nobody knows what they did, but I do not see them except they were cursed and changed into rats. But how Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, Allah pray on him, not for him, come to such a conclusion? The Prophet, he give you an extreme scientific method of observation, and like scientific way to analyze. For if you put a milk of a she camel in front of a rat, it will not drink it. But if the milk of a sheep is put in front of it, it will drink it. And now we understand how Muhammad is extremely scientifically accurate. Prophet Muhammad, because of his science, he said to himself, I live between the Jews, and the Jews, they believe that the sheep, the milk of the camel is forbidden. It's not kosher. It's not clean. It's najis. And they don't eat even the meat of the camel. And now I'm looking at the rats, and they are not drinking the milk of the camel. So now Muhammad, he discovered, because of his solo science, no one ever come to such a conclusion. He discovered, okay, rats don't drink milk of a she camel. Jews don't drink of she camel. That's mean those rats, they used to be Jews, and Allah transformed them into rats. Now, who is the scientist who wanna come and give us a help in this scientific discovery? Anyone? Anyone? Like those Muslim channel, Dawah, Fadwa, Shadwa, Nadwa, Balwa, where are you? We are welcoming you for a nice conversation together, and either you laugh at me. I don't want to laugh at you, Muslims, honestly. You know, you're not my target. My target is the biggest fat liar, Muhammad. I mean, how in the world this guy he come to this? I can use the same to you. Donkeys don't drink whiskey. Muslims don't drink whiskey. Does that mean that donkeys used to be Muslim cursed by Allah? I mean, what a stupidity is that? Monkeys drink urine. Muslims drink urine. Oh, I forgot that even the Muslims, they believe that monkeys are Muslims. If you remember, there's a hadith about monkeys practicing Sharia law, and they were stoning a female monkey who cheated her husband, Mr. Chimpanzee. He is from a big family. He is from the red acid tribe, chimpanzee. So, you know, this female monkey, you cannot trust a female monkey to be your wife. I'm telling you. I mean, it's your fault. I mean, what do you expect? Okay. So here we see this guy. He saw it with his own eyes. I mean, he's a companion of the Prophet of Allah, and he witnessed how monkeys, they practice the Sharia law of Allah, because Allah, he gave them a prophet, the Prophet Muhammad. The Prophet Muhammad is not only a prophet for mankind, according to the Muslims, he's a prophet for everybody. He converted the lizard to Islam. You remember? He converted the camel to Islam. He converted the tree to Islam. The tree said Allahu Akbar, Shahada, you know, shish kebab hummus. So here we see, during the pre-Islamic period of ignorance, and the funny, the Muslim, they call other people ignorance. Look at this. The pre-Islamic era of ignorance. Now we are in the time of science. I saw a she monkey surrounded by a number of monkeys. They were all stoning it because it had committed illegal sexual intercourse. And I too stoned it along with them. True story, brother. You know, imagine yourself. You met a female monkey. She is pretty, she is sexy, and you know it. And you are a very handsome chimpanzee or a gorilla. And then you get married from this monkey and you pay her dowries. According to the story, actually, the original story here, you don't see it. If you read my book, Sex on Allah, you will see the story in full. The monkey, the female monkey, was laying down, and her husband, he was sleeping over her arm. Is that ringing a bell for you? Just take a note of this. We will go back to it. And then when she saw a young monkey, obviously he is like sexy and you know it, she could not resist. You know, maybe he have a nice banana. And I'm talking about the banana, the fruit now, don't take me wrong. So she would draw her hand from under his head slowly, and she went behind the tree, and they did boom boom with the, you know, the new boyfriend. And then after she finished, she came back and she put her hand under the head of the husband, and then he woke up. And then this Muslim chimpanzee, brother, he started sniffing. You know, the animals, they sniff, you know them. So he sniffed and he smelled the smell of a sperm in her private part. So he starts screaming, ha, 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 Allahu Akbar, ha, 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 ha. And then all the monkeys, they came from every direction. And they surrounded the female monkey. And they stoned her. But here in the story, there is something missing. Where is the male monkey? This reminds me of the story of Muhammad. The Muslim, they say he was merciful. A woman, she committed adultery. She came to Muhammad, and she is carrying a baby now from adultery. Muhammad, he told her, okay, come back after you give birth to the baby. The woman, she came back after she gave birth to the baby, and she said to him, Prophet, I'm the one who committed adultery. Have mercy on me. He said to her, okay, come back. I have a child, you know, I need to feed him. He's a baby, he's just born. He said, okay, come back after you finish, you know, like the breastfeeding period. So she came back after like 2 years and she said, Prophet Muhammad, I am the one who told me, you told me to come back, you know. So have mercy on me. Prophet Muhammad, he ordered to stone her. Here the Muslim, they say, look how merciful the Prophet. I don't know. I mean, this your Prophet is an idiot. So the woman, she said she had sex, illegal intercourse. Shouldn't he ask her she had sex with who? Bring the guy? We just stone the women? How merciful, this merciful Prophet. And now she have a baby, we stone her? uh, but anyway, until now for sure, we did not go deep in the uh, knowledge of science. This is, you know, this is what the Christians say about Prophet Muhammad, to put him down. But the truth is way different from this. So who is a Muhammadan would like to call us and show us that we are wrong? Anyone? Let us see if we have any contact from my friends. Don't send me text in Skype. You know, we made this for Muslims to call us. We have a Muslim, his name is Muhammad Afzal. Let us see if he is Afzal or not. Let us call him. Muhammad Afzal is not available. Okay. Oh, actually, call declined. I see. Muhammad Afzal, call declined. That's good. That's a good sign. Who is a Muslim? He would like to give us a scientific discovery so we can learn from you. I mean, the challenge is very simple. You see, you call us, you show us, I answer you about what you say. And you can answer me for sure. Anyone? Anyone? Well, if Muslim will not call us, then we have to go and check the Muslim website or check maybe the book of Zakir Naik. You know, the Muslim, they have tons of articles about science in the Quran. It is extremely accurate. You know what accurate means? Extremely, there is no lies. As an example here, not limited to. Let us see this article here. Actually, it's not it's a book published in Islam Online something. Let us see. Quran and moderated science. Okay, that's good. Sound good to me. I like that. So this is a book supposedly written by a Western man, edited by a Muslim, by a Western scientist who converted to Islam. Creation of the universe. For an examination of the creation, as described in the Quran, an extremely important general concept emerged. The Quranic narration is quite different from the biblical narration. This idea contradicts the parallels, which is often, I don't know if I'm saying the word wrong, often wrongly drawn by Western authors to emphasize that the resemblance between the two texts, to stress only the similarity while silently ignoring the obvious dissimilarity is distort reality. There is perhaps a reason for this. When talking about creation, there is a strong tendency in the West to claim that Muhammad copied the general outlines mentioned in the Quran from the Bible. Certainly, it is possible to compare the 6 days of a creation as described in the Bible, plus an extra day for rest on God's Sabbath, with verse from a chapter of Al-A'raf. Your Lord God, who created the heaven and the earth in 6 days. Chapter 7, verse number 54. However, it must be pointed out that the modern commentators stress, and here I like it, the modern commentators. You see, listen, it is not the early commentator, the companion of the prophet. It's not the prophet, is the modern commentator, and he's one of them. Stress the interpretation of Arabic ayyam on translation, which is days, as meaning long period or ages rather than 24 hours. Brothers, sisters, you've been got busted. It's not 24 hours. It was long period, and Zakir Naik, he says billions of years. Now let us see if this is true or not. I mean, those guys saying to us modern commentator. I like the modern commentator, to be honest with you. Modern commentator is the best. Forget about the rest. So if we go here to the modern commentator, we will find Muhammad is the best commentator. I mean, who can commentate the Quran better than Muhammad? Let us see if it is long period or 24 days, 24 hours a day. I mean, we did not start the book yet, and the book is destroyed. This is the prophet. Please say peace upon him, all of you. The Muslims will, chop your head if you don't say that. Be careful. And this is Sahih. This is Sahih Muslim, as you see. Sahih Muslim. Don't tell me weak and, need vitamin. Muslims are weak. Muhammad is weak. Allah is weak. And Hadith is weak. And Quran is weak. And, we don't find the Quran. Anyway, Sahih Muslim 2789. The Prophet, he said, Allah, the Exalted, the Glorious, created the clay on Saturday. And he created the mountains on Sunday. He created the trees on Monday. And he created the things entirely in labor on Tuesday. And created the light on Wednesday. And he caused the animals to spread on Thursday. And he created Adam, peace be upon him, after noon in Friday. But the book, brother, saying that the new commentators, they agree that one day is not 24-hour a day. It is a long period, which means billions of years. Later you will see it's a billions of years. And here you see the hypocrisy and how and why we say, and we warn everybody, never and you cannot learn Islam from Muslims, because they lie. They lie. Do you think those people do not know what their prophet said? Do you think those people, they never read what their prophet said? You see, commentator, I can say I will read a commentator about something is not clear, but I mean, but this is Muhammad himself. I mean, who knows what the Quran means better than Muhammad? Do you see the word Saturday? Do you see the word Sunday? Do you see the word Thursday? Do you see the word Wednesday? I mean, how in the world those people, they lie with no shame? If you remember Ahmed Didat, he was making fun of a Christian in his video about the Bible says that God created the sun not in Wednesday, in the fourth day. Read with me. This is their prophet. And the funny is, in the book, they are saying that there is no way Prophet was copying from the Bible. But remember, in the Bible, before God created the sun, he created the light. He said, let be light, and light was. So the sun is not the first created light. Actually, the sun is not even a light. Yes, it is provide light, providing light, but it's not the light itself. You have to create the light first to be given to the sun. You have to create such an like an object, if we can say, to make it exist first. The stars can be a star and can be a dead star, have no light, yet it is a star. So the Bible says God said, let be light, and light was. Allah, he said to Muhammad, read. Muhammad still cannot read. Allah, he squeezed Muhammad for the second time. He screamed in his face, you idiot, read. Muhammad still cannot read. He squeezed him again, and he says, read. And here, by the way, the irony is the Muslims, they have articles about read. So they say, do you know that how Islam encourage science? We say, how? They say, don't you know that Islam started by the order of read? Really? Yeah. Don't you know? Don't you know that the first thing when the angel Jibril came to Muhammad, he told him to read? That's really amazing. He told him to read. But Muhammad is still, he cannot read. So here we see the science work in a very weird way. Because if Allah messenger, which is Jibril in this case, he said to Muhammad, read, and Muhammad still cannot read, that means the order of Allah doesn't work. The Muslim, they say, Allah, if he wants something, he say be is going to be. The one who said read actually is not the angel. The angel is just carrying a message. I like that story, and especially I like the part where they get Muhammad busted by a cold in water because he was really he's in a panic mood. He lost his mind and he's acting as a crazy man, and this is additional proof that Muhammad is mentally ill. So if you go to the story here, let us show it to you. I just grabbed the hadith. Most of them might say to you, where it says that Muhammad, they throw cold water on him. Where? Actually, how in the world you can get cold water in Mecca? I don't know. You tell me. Maybe Muhammad, he used to have refrigerator. So this is the hadith here. Actually, this is not the one we want. Or give me a second. Remove. Approve. Aman Rabbi Aman. Okay. I don't know why it's not showing. Hold on. Why it is not showing? Maybe this one. Okay. All right. Read with me, please. And this is the Book of Faith, Sahih Muslim. This is very authentic hadith. The Book of Faith, hadith number 161, as you see in the top. 37, chapter, the beginning of revelation to the messenger of Allah. SAWS. This is like a short waves, long wave. It's hard for you to understand. Yahya reported, I asked Abu Salama, what was revealed first from the Quran? He said, "O shrouded one." I said, or recite. What? What shrouded one? I said, or recite. Let us see the Arabic part of this so we can understand part better. He said, which one revealed of the Quran first? He said, Ya ayyuhal mudaththir. I said, or read. But if we go to the Quran and we search for this chapter, I mean, have you ever heard of a religion like this? They didn't know what was revealed first of the in the. I mean, this is how much preserved the stories is. If we go here, oh boy, يا أيها المدثر. Okay, you know what in Robed 1, what does that mean? What the heck is that? Muhammad was covered by what? Erase and warn, and then say Allahu Akbar, and then purify your clothes, and then abandon the abomination. This is a condemnation. Then Muhammad, he was not abandoning the abomination. I mean, do you see to somebody Allah saying to Muhammad and abandon? He is ordering him, and this is about being pagan, supposedly. Stop being pagan. You worship the pagan Allah, not the other pagan God. So we asked the Muslims, which one is the first one was given to Muhammad? 99.9 of Muslims, they will say to you, Iqra, which is today in chapter 96. Here in this hadith, which is very authentic, the first thing Allah he said to him is this, and that makes sense. Why? Because obviously here it says Muhammad, he was still a pagan person, and Allah is ordering him to purify his clothes because simply he is najis, and because he is najis, he need to abandon the abomination, and then don't do the following things, etc. Okay, and then, you know, the rest of the chapter is really very funny. Like if you read here, by the way, what the heck is that? I mean, what is this? May he perish. How he analyzed. Again, may he perish. How he analyzed. Well, then he looked. Then he forward and wide. And then what? He turned back. And so was proud. What the heck is that? Understanding Mr. Bean is way easier than understanding the stupidity of this verse or those chapters. What the heck is that? You know, somebody help, Muhammadan, help. Going back to the previous hadith. So the Muslims are not sure really what came first to Muhammad. But why? Because Muhammad, he comes with different stories every few days. Then here you will see that Muhammad came to him, sorry, Jibreel, he came to him. And here there's different story. Guys, anyone remember where Jibreel first time appeared to Muhammad? Anyone remember? When first time Jibreel appeared to Muhammad? Who wanna help me? As you know, I do not know much about Islam. This is what the Muslim says. When the first time Jibreel in the cave, thank you. In the cave. So first time Jibreel came to Muhammad was on the cave. But look what happened here. In this hadith, first time Jibreel come to Muhammad, it was in the bottom of the valley. Let us read. He is not in the cave. He was close. You know, like in the around the cave. So I was in the area of Hara for the period of a month. And when I finished, I came down. And then I stayed in the belly of the valley. and then I was cold. Let us go to the English translation, so the Muslim will not say, oh, he's giving you fast translation. So this is the first one, was coming and Mudathir, we showed you the chapter, or recite, okay, and then the Messenger of Allah said, I stayed in Hira for a month, and then when my stay was completed, so now he's left. In the other story, Jibreel, he came to him in the cave. Here, no. I came down and I went into the heart of the valley. Somebody called me loud, Muhammad. I looked in front of me and behind me, and on the right of my side and on my left. I did not see anybody. And I was called again, and I looked about, but I saw nothing. I was called again. This is what? This is the third time. You see, Islam is a religion of a Trinity in everything. Muhammad, he cannot hear unless you scream at him 3 times. Muhammad shake hands 3 times. Muhammad swear 3 times. Muhammad, he says, Adam, he won the debate according against Moses 3 times. Everything 3 times. Muhammad, he do ablution 3 times. His hand washed 3 times. His face 3 times. I looked, and this the third time, I raised my head, and there on the throne, in the open atmosphere, he. And here we have to stop with the science. Muhammad, he saw in the atmosphere, which means the sky above him, Jibreel on a throne. Jibreel have a throne? What is his kingdom? Do we have any Muhammadan can help? People, do you see the word throne? Or I'm making things up? Throne, right? I thought only Allah have a throne. And the angels is under the throne. And 8 mountain goats is carrying the throne of Allah, as the Quran says. Now Muhammad, changing the story, the one is in the throne is Jibreel. And he changed the story. Jibreel did not came to him in the cave. It was in the bottom of the valley, after he left the cave, going back home. And then here it says, i.e. Jibreel was sitting, I began to tremble on account of fear. I came to Khadija, and I said, warm me up. They warmed me up, and they throw water on me. Oh boy. What they throw? Water? You Muslims, is it really water or cold water? Let us check a little bit. Muslims, they are very decent in their translation. They never lie. Let us see if it says here only water. Oh, actually here it says only water. It doesn't say cold. Yeah, so it's correct. And then look what happened. So Jibreel, he saw Jibreel in the sky. Jibreel, he called Muhammad. What he said to him? Called me loud. But he didn't say what he called him, what he said to him. What called me loud? Maybe he said, oh Muhammad. So now he saw Jibreel. So Jibreel stopped talking. And then Muhammad, he was trembling in account of fear. I came to Khadija and I said, warm me up, warm me up. This is a mental disease. You can search the symptoms of people who hear voices, imagining things, and they have a shivering, and they have a panic, and they feel heat or cold or etc. And it is, it's not a secret that there is many like mental illness. You see, when somebody have mental illness, by the way, we don't make fun of him. All of us, we have in certain age, in certain time, we get sick. And sickness can be physical sickness in a hand, in a leg, in a teeth, in the brain. It can be. So this is not the point. We are not putting a person down because he is mentally ill. We are just proving a point. Muhammad obviously is suffering from mental illness, because doesn't make a sense that now the angel Jibreel appearing on a throne. How he knew this is Jibreel? I mean, you saw what? You saw someone on a throne in the sky. How you know it is Jibreel? The guy did not say, I am Jibreel. Where he got the information from? So he went to his wife and he is shivering. Actually, in different hadith, it says that his neck and his muscles is suffering from a great pain. Let us, search for different hadith, and you will see how Muhammad keeps changing the story. Muhammad, he cannot repeat one story twice, decently. And this is again a proof either he's a liar or mentally ill. Actually, let us search for this hadith in English. Just to show you how you can find. When Muhammad he have what he told in this story, he told Khadija, what's wrong with me? Actually, let us find it in either way, because we might find many hadith with the same title. Here, you notice the story changed. Read with me carefully and see how the liar Muhammad he cannot. And the funny is, both hadith is authentic. Both hadith is authentic. Both are coming from the same books. Here it says that Jibreel came to Muhammad in the cave of Hira. There, no, after he completed staying around the cave, or in the cave maybe, he went down the valley, and in the valley he looked up him in the sky. He saw Jibreel on the throne. Here Muhammad he have different story. It says the commandment of the divine inspiration to Allah Messenger was in the form of a good, righteous, true dreams in his sleep. He never had a dream, but had that come to be true, like bright daylight. He used to go in seclusion to the cave of Hira, where he used to worship Allah alone, continuously. For many days, nights, he used to take with him the journey food for that, like the time he would stay there, and then came back to his wife Khadija to take his food likewise. Again for another period. Khadija, she don't see him. The guy, he come, he take food. Khadija is just a cook. Okay. The angel came to him. Read me carefully. In it where? In the cave. While he was, he said, till suddenly the truth descended. When they say the truth, they mean Jibreel, which is funny. Jibreel is the truth. Descendant upon him while he was in the cave of Hira. The angel came to him in it. So where is the angel location was? Inside the cave, not outside. In the other hadith, it is the opposite. Do you see it? It was. It's the opposite. How both can be authentic? Both hadith are very authentic, 100% authentic. The only way for such a story to be authentic if the one who said it is a liar. He said what he said. In one he claimed that the first time he saw Jibreel it was inside the cave, and the other one it was out of the cave. But both are impossible. And then you will see here that the angel, there's a different story here, the angel is squeezing him. There he just saw him, he saw him in the throne. Here the angel is not in the throne, he is inside the cave and he's squeezing Muhammad. So as long as we are talking about science, I want to ask the scientist, what is the symptoms we see in front of us? What disease is that? What Muhammad is suffering from? The man, he is saying that an angel came to him and he cut him and he squeezed him and he pissed him until he cannot even breathe. And he ordered him, says to him, read. And then the angel, after he said that and he squeezed him very, very hard, Muhammad, he says, I do not know how to read. And the Muslims' confusion is far from ending. Or what shall I read? However, both of them is stupid. Why? If Muhammad do not know how to read, and the angel asking him to read, that means the angel is stupid, Allah is stupid. Not only that, Allah saying to Muhammad, read, yet Muhammad still cannot read. Jesus says to the blind man, see, he saw. He said to the man, he cannot walk, walk. He woke. He healed multitude of thousands of people. As we showed you yesterday, John, he said, there's no book can write down, not the whole earth books, can write down the count and multitude of the miracles of Jesus. Here this God, he said to Muhammad, read. Muhammad cannot read. Now, if the God saying to Muhammad, read, and Muhammad says, I do not know to read, how to read, or what shall I read? Both is stupid. Why? Because Muhammad is getting Muhammad, Allah busted. Should I read what? Imagine somebody enter to your apartment or your room, squeezing you, says to you, read. But he have no books, he have nothing in his hand. Read what, you idiot? And shouldn't Muhammad push the guy? Who are you? Shouldn't the guy say, Assalamu alaikum, this is a messenger of Allah? Both of them, they are messenger of Allah. The Jibreel is messenger of Allah coming to Muhammad. Shouldn't he say to Muhammad, Assalamu alaikum? The same angel which Muhammad, he stole his name, by the way, is actually, he's not the one who knows the name. He went to Waraq ibn Nawfal, his real father, and Waraq ibn Nawfal, he told him, oh, this is Jibreel. Muhammad never heard of this name before. If you remember when the angel came to Mary in the Bible, what the angel says to Mary? Anyone remember? I'm sure all of you do. Is it true that the angel said to Mary, Shalom to you, Mary? Is that true? Is that true? Why the same angel or angels coming to Muhammad and they did not greet Muhammad with the greet of peace? Shalom, Salamu alaikum, which is Muhammad he stole from the Jews. You see, everything in this filthy cult is stolen from the Christians and the Jews, including Assalamu alaikum. So as long as those people, they speak about science, science not only limited for chemical and steel and physics and astronomy. Science is a science of logic, science of philosophy, science of history, science of documentation, science of authentic document. So there is science. Science has millions of branches, but you see here, this guy, he failed in every science. He can't even repeat a story twice. This is when the first time the angel came to him. No, actually, not only that. Muhammad, he have another story. According to Muhammad, according to Muslims, when the angel came to Muhammad first time was in his bedroom. Uh, let me find the hadith. I have it in Arabic. I don't know if you can find it in English yourself. So feel free. Let me show you the page in English. In Arabic, sorry. And I will give you the link actually. Let me give you a link so you can practice with me if you wish, and you can save the reference. And remember, by the way, we made a challenge for the Muhammadan to call us and join us and tell us about the science in the Quran. You see, now we are doing science. We are scientifically examining the lies of Muhammad, who he find the sunset in a murky water. He found next to it where the sun set, he found the setting place of the sun. He found the sunset in boiling water, murky, boiling spring of water. He found where the sunrise. He found that hail is coming from mountains in heaven. He found that men have a sperm coming from his backbone, and women, they have a sperm coming from their ribs. I mean, he have a lot of find. He found that the semen grow and become a piece of a flesh. So we can count endless science of Muhammad, but now we are examining the lies of the liar Muhammad. So I just post for you the link. I don't know how many of you took it and add add it to favorite and give it a title description, so later you can remember what it is about. So in front of you now, I'm going to use Google translation. This is the book of As-Sirah Nabawiyya Ibn Hisham, volume number 1, page number 239. I will not read the whole thing for you. You can read it because we are going to use English translation. But to make the story short, Muhammad, he sees someone in the corner of his room. Where? In the corner of his room. Khadija, she said to him, "Oh, my cousin, can you tell me about this friend of yours?" You know, like you have a 6-year-old kid and you say to him, "Okay, tell me about your friend." A friend of yours? Who? She's talking about who? Who come to you? If he comes to you, can you tell me when he will? The translation here is not too much accurate. She's saying, can you tell me an sahibaka alladhi ata, yatika, the one who is coming to visit you? So there's a guy, he come to visit Muhammad in the room, but you don't talk to him. And Muhammad is afraid. And he think maybe he is a shaitan. He said yes. She said, if he comes to you, tell me about it. Jibril, peace be upon him. I don't know if the text is clear for you guys. Tell me about it, which means it's about Jibril. Jibril, peace upon him. But now, until now, he do not know if this is Jibril or not. They don't even know who is the guy. Came to him as he was doing. So always Jibril, he come and he sit in the corner of the room. Oh, you guys, you cannot see the screen. Oh, sorry. But anyway, I gave you the link, so you can do it yourself. All right? I gave you the link, so don't complain. You can use Google Translate. Remember always, if you want to use Google Translation, you have to open the link in Google browser. If you open it in Firefox, Opera, or those links, it's not going to work. So here we use Google Translation. How to do Google Translation? You click in the empty side of the page in the side, and then you click at translate to your language, whatever your language. For me, I speak all languages, as you remember. Say senor, here we go. I speak Spanish. So now, so Jibril came to him after Khadija. She told him, when he come to you, let me know, okay? Huh? When he come to you next time, you see him in the corner of the room, let me know. So Muhammad, he says to her, okay. I will tell you, Mama. Then Jibreel, peace be upon him, came as he used to do, as you know, he was doing before. The Messenger of Allah, Allah pray on him and grant him peace, said, Khadija, 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 this is Jibreel. But by the way, they don't know that this is Jibreel yet. How we know Jibreel? This is later, they confirm, so they are using the word Jibreel. He came to me. She said, get up, cousin, sit in my left thigh. You know, I did read this story a million times, and each time I laughed as if I just saw it first time. Honestly, it's like, it's unbelievable. I mean, the guy, he saw Jibreel, and now his wife, she is practicing science examination. Actually, even if you look in the page, I don't know if you see in the top of the page, it says Khadija examining the proof of revelation. Do you see it here in the top? Do you see it? I cannot zoom in more. You know, let me see if I can zoom more in. Actually, I don't know if that will work. Can you see it better now? I think you can see it. So this is the examination, brother. So what we are doing now, we are in the process of examining the revelation. Dr. Christian Prince, I told you 1,000 times, don't ask me question because I will not answer it. Zakir Naik, I want to know what sitting in the top of her leg have to do with examining the revelation. Christian Prince, first of all, you are stupid, and first of all, you are stupid. Okay, Zakir Naik, you are repeating what you said to me 10 years ago, but still you cannot answer a question. Who is the stupid here? So he is a prophet. The angel came to him. Why the wife, and he is sitting in the, why the angel is sitting in the corner? Why don't say something? With a myth. First of all, don't question Allah, because the one who question Allah, Allah will give him a finger. Zakir Naik, Allah, he gave me a finger, he don't give me a, Allah have 5 fingers, by the way. You mentioned fingers. Why have fingers? Christian Prince, so he can give you a finger. What's Zakir Naik? This is good. Shame on you, man. Be polite. What is your manner? Christian Prince, Allah have 5 fingers because he want to use them. Okay, but this is a different topic now. We will go back to the fingers. Khadija is asking Muhammad to sit in the top of her leg. For what reason? Any Muslim can tell us? People of science? Is that what happened to Moses? Is that what happened to the prophets of God usually? The wife, she asked the prophet husband, come honey, come, sit on the top of my thigh. Look, not only it's her thigh. Which one? The left one. I mean, how small Muhammad is and how big Khadija is. Muhammad must be a midget. How Muhammad can sit in the left of the thigh of Khadija? Are we talking about a man or a child? Khadija was mama. The scientific prophet, the leader of the ummah, the truth. Hey Habibi, sit here, the left thigh. I mean, when you read this story, you die laughing. So now Khadija, she is examining the wahi. You know, in Arabic it says Khadija wa imtihan al-wahi. Khadija, she is, like you see that translation here is test of a proof, is proof. The translation is not accurate. Examination of revelation given to Muhammad. She want to know if it's true or not. How? Okay, Habibi, come and sit in the top of my left eye. So look here. So Khadija said, get up, cousin, and sit on my left thigh. He said, she said actually. So Messenger of Allah, you know, he sat in her left thigh. He got up and he said, look how obedience is. I mean, here you ask yourself, a person he have little intelligence, shouldn't he ask her, what is the heck is that? Let us think about it for a second. Let us say you Muslims, any one of you is a, you know, he received a message from God. Okay, Allah, he sent you a message. All right, and your wife, she asks you to stand up and sit in your right, in her right thigh. So didn't you say to her, what the heck is that? I mean, don't you find that this is very stupid? I see someone in the corner of my room. My wife, she said to me, sit in the left of my thigh. And then she said to him, okay, Prophet of Allah, do you see him? He said, yes, Mama, I see him, Mama. You know, look, she said. And the funny is, look, it says, he got up and he sat on her. Oh boy. Now I know why prophet get married. I mean, how you will know if you are a prophet or not if you don't have women thigh next to you and you sit on them? So he get up and he sat on her. She said, do you see him? Who? Supposedly the guy in the corner. He said, yes, I see him. She said, okay, turn and around and sit on my right thigh. Look, what the heck? The left thigh is not doing the job. It's not enough. Okay, sit in the right thigh now. So Muhammad now, he get up and he sit in the right thigh of his wife Khadija. She said, so Messenger of Allah, God bless him, and Allah pray on him, he turned and he sat on her right thigh. She said, do you see him? He said, yes, I see him. Okay. She said, all right. So he turned and sat on my lap. Where he sat? Brothers and sisters, understand the situation. The Prophet now is sitting on her lap. He sat where? Imagine we have video at that time, video camera, and you know we have this movie. This is the Prophet of God. This is the Prophet. You Muslim make so much noise about him, and you want to kill anyone who want to insult him. What the heck? You know, guys, to be honest with you, I think I'm a prophet. This is why I have another account. It's called Arabian Prophet. I mean, did you ask yourself why? But the only problem I have, I don't have a woman to sit in her lap to examine the revelation I receive every day. How I will know? How I will know if I am seeing a true angel from God or not if I don't have a woman have left thigh, right thigh, and then she asked me to sit in the top of her lap. This is sex position now. They are boom time. Unbelievable. And then she said, do you see him? He said, yes, I see him, yes. Like, what the heck? The guy is still there. And then Khadija, she took off her clothes. The translation says she threw down her veil while the Messenger of Allah, Allah pray on him, and he was sitting in her lap. Like, what the heck? Strip this time. And then she said to him, do you still see him? He said, no. She said, cousin, be firm and rejoice. By Allah, he is an angel, not a devil. So the Muslim, they say, yes, yes, yes. The angel is shy. He will not stay to watch a wife and husband. They are going to do boom, boom. So when Khadija, she took off her clothes, and now Muhammad in the top of her, the angel, he said to himself, oh, it looked like the angel is stupid, by the way. He did not notice that they are doing examination. He thought they will have sex. And this is how Muhammad revelation proven to be scientific and true. It was the right thigh, the left thigh, the top of her lap, and striptease. How many of you saved this reference, people? How many of you did save the reference? Later you might, try to contact me, says, where we can find this? I will not give it to you. You see, I spend many hours here with you. Many people, they go online for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, they give you a video and they go. I stay hours with you. So I find it insulting, especially if you are here presented, not to save reference and later you ask for it. Save reference. Later you need those reference and you do not know how to find them. Now, we don't want to, like, we spend too much time speaking about the examination in scientific way about how Muhammad is a prophet. But in fact, we have way more things to speak about science. If we go back to the article which the Muslim, they were reading for us, what is the article? Hold on. The article of the Muhammadan is an article by itself. Okay, here we go. So if we go back to the articles, the Muslims speaking about science in the Quran, where we stop, remember, they were saying that it's not about day long, it's not about etc. Where was the article? Hold on. Quran and science. I don't know if I close the page. I hope not. This. All right. So we stop here. Actually, we were talking about that some people, they claim that the Quran copy the sixth day from the Bible. In fact, the Quran, when he mentioned the Quran or Allah mentioned the 6 days, he don't mean 6 days as 24 hours. He mean long period, which mean millions of years. But we show you the hadith about Muhammad speaking about it is 24 hours. Even he called it Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And even the Quran described how Allah, when he created Adam, he asked Allah to finish him before the sun set. So I find the Muslim articles is like written for a fool by a fool. Do you know Muslims? What if somebody he go right now and he check if it's really meant 6 days or not? I mean, you idiot. It says 6 days, and then in the seventh one, Allah he went to the throne. How in the world the 6 days became 6 billions of years or 6 trillions of years? So why he used the word days? How you think that your lies can live? And here we go. Now we got you busted. We got you what Muhammad said, or what you were saying. And then it says, look at this here. In fact, the notion derived from the Quran, one of pluralism in the celestial and terrestrial evolution. There are also basic pieces of information concerning the existence of initial Jesus mass dukhan. Oh, dukhan is Jesus mass. Okay, which are unique in the Quran as well. Describe of the element which was also first were fused together. Ratq. Their substance become separated. Fataq. These ideas are expressed in the chapter of Fussilat. God then rose, turning toward the heaven when it was a smoke. But here you see the stupidity of those who claim to be scientists. According to your stupid God, the sky was a smoke, and Ibn Kathir he said that the smoke, because it is coming from the earth, not because there is a sky, is a smoke itself. And we can show the reference for the thing. However, based in this verse in the Quran, the earth was created first. Now let us see if this is true or not. And this is for sure totally against science, because if we go in the Quran, we will find the following. Oh, I'm typing in English, sorry. Chapter 2, verse number 29. What the chapter 2, verse 29 says? It is he who created for you everything on earth. Then he turned to the heaven and he made them 7 heavens. So what was created complete first? People, what was created completely first? It was the earth. And then Allah he start working in the 7 heaven. If we go to the from verse in the Quran, we will find the following. And actually we will go to the same chapter they quote for us in the article, just to show you how we get them busted. Chapter 41, and look here, look at the liars. Do you notice that they quote for you chapter 41 verse number 11? Why you don't show verse number 9 and 10? Because those about the creation. Why we go only for 14, 1, 11? Let us see why. In a second you will find out why. So in the that verse, we will find the following. Chapter 41, verse number 11. Then he turned to the sky, and it was a smoke. And he quote the only one part of the verse. He did not quote the second part because it's stupid. Because Allah then he spoke to the earth and the heaven, and he said to them, come willingly or not willingly. They said, we come willingly. According to Islam, the earth and the heaven, they are creatures, they talk, and they believe in Allah. But why we don't go and read the verses before it? Why we jump to chapter 41, verse number 11, but we don't show verse number 10, verse number 9. Do you know why? Because if he showed them, that confirmed that the Quran says it clearly that Allah, he finished completely the earth before even the structure of the heaven is exist. Now those who speak of science, according to science, according to the Muslim science, I don't want to say the scientist, if you want to go by science, you see, we Christians, we don't kiss the bum of a scientist to agree with us. You agree or you agree, we don't care. We are believers. We don't care what you know, like you might say, oh, this is crazy, so you are saying, yeah, we don't. I'm a believer, my friend. Your science doesn't work for me. Like, which science will say that Jesus is born of a virgin? There's no science I prove that. We don't go by science. But because Islam is a religion of deception and they have no faith in their religion, they try to bend the text and try to make it scientific so they can fool as many as they can. Islam is a religion of Satan, deception. You know, if I say to you, let's talk about science, who want to believe that somebody put some mud on the eye of somebody and make the blind see? That is not science. Do we agree, Christians? We agree, right? Who want to believe that there is a person, if we are talking about science, his name is Jesus, he said to the one who is all his life cannot walk, carry your bed and walk. The guy carry his bed and walk. In which his hospital you can do that? In which science can be this? So, you know, we Christians, we are not, and we will not bend our faith under the shoes of somebody to make him agree. Our Lord above their science, and we are warriors of Christ. And that's why we call them miracles. Creation of the earth is a miracle, is not science. Creation of the heaven and the space and the stars is a miracle. It is not science. Every structure around us, we as a Christian, we believe it's a miracle and it's not science. Science is something we created to learn about what God, he created. The science of building. But what we are doing now, we are using what God, he created for us to build. So a person, he became an engineer, or he got a PhD in engineering, so he can engineer a better building, but doesn't mean that he is the one who created even engineering itself. For the first engineer, it was God. He engineered your DNA, he engineered the structure of the earth, the dirt, the dust, the water, the gas, the atmosphere, everything we see around us. So we as a Christians, we don't do what the Muslims do, and we will never be hypocrite, and we will never bow down to someone he claims science for our Lord above their science. But because Muslims, they don't have faith in their Lord, so what they do? They bend their science, which is the Quran, to fit with the true science of the scientists. And when we say the word true, I mean how and what they meant in their science as scientists. So here we see the Muslims, they quote for us chapter 41, verse number 11, but he did not quote for us that Allah created the earth in 2 days. Remember why? Because 2 lines before he said it doesn't mean 2 days. It was long period of time. And then in the top of that, then he placed, after the 2 days, he placed, and look at the first translation, he placed stabilizer. The rawasi here is mountains. He placed mountains in the top of the earth, and he blessed it, and he give it the provision with, like, when trees, water, everything the earth has in 4 days. And by the way, here there's a mistake, because 2 days here to create the earth, verse number 9, and then 4 days to create what is in the top of the earth, and then 2 more days to create the sky. The total is 8. You see how stupid Muhammad? And now the Muslim, to fix it, they say to you, oh no, 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 those 2 days here are included in the 4 days. That would be more stupid, because if we say 2 days, you don't say in 4 days. It's clear, it says, and he did this in 4 days. If we change the translator, just to show you how stupid this religion, I mean, I cannot even believe that anyone in the world can believe in such a stupid book. And how those people, they try to duct tape this stupid book. Read with me carefully. Say, O Muhammad, do you verily disbelieve in him who created the earth in 2 days? So Allah, he created the earth in 2 days. He continue, and then he placed therein, between two brackets, I the earth, i.e. the earth, firm mountains from above it, which is stupid. According to the Quran, Allah, he placed mountains in the top of the earth. The earth never have mountains. Why? Because the earth is a flat, according to the Quran, and Allah, he put the mountains so to make it heavy, otherwise it's going to fly. He blessed it and measure therein its substance. In how many days? In 4 days. So now 2 days to create the earth, 4 days to create what in the top of the earth, and then we continue and we find that then Allah, he left up, and this is what the Muslim, when they claim science, they did not say, what do you mean Allah, he went up? Allah was where? You see, the verse here says, then he istawa. Between two brackets, he rose over. Muslims, where was Allah? Any Muslim? When the Quran says, and then Allah, he rose over, where he was down. Any Muhammadan? They will not answer. They don't know what they believe in. This religion is religion of the foolishness. Where Allah was, you see, the second you ask a question, little question, you will see that this religion will have poo-poo between the legs of the believers. What do you mean Allah, he rose up? Rose up where? Anyone? Rose up where? You see, when we say rose up, it means he was down. Down where? On the earth? And let us take a break here and see where Allah was. Shall we? Read and love. Chapter Believe in the Divine Decree, Section 1, brother. This is from Sahih Muslim. Abdullah ibn Amr reported, God, Allah Messenger, as saying, God recorded the fates of all creatures 50,000 years before creation, creating the heaven and the earth, and his throne was upon the water. Like, what the heck? There's no earth, there's no heaven, there's no earth, yet he have a throne, it's above the water. Any comment, Muslims? How there's no earth, there's no heaven, there's nothing, he created nothing yet. And by the way, he wrote your fate 50,000 years, brother. 50,000 years. By the way, here, anyone remember something stupid about Muhammad? About numbers? Who wanna help me? Let us see. Who of you is fast in memory and putting things together? Anyone remember something? Look, somebody said something number. Let's see what he said. The text is moving fast. Somebody mentioned the number 50,000. Okay, let's see. Okay, A and B saying 50,000 before Allah thought of Muhammad. Okay, no, this is not what I'm looking for. Somebody help, come on. 40 years. Isn't it the same Muhammad he said that Allah, he wrote the fate of Adam 40 years before he created him? Do you remember the hadith? Guys, do you remember? When Moses and Adam, they have a debate. Moses and Adam, they had a debate. Adam, he said to Moses, do you blame me for a fate written for me 40 years before my creation? So now Muhammad, what is he saying? What is it? What is that an error? No. Is that da'if hadith? No. This is sahih. 50,000 years. Let us go to the hadith of Adam. Let us see. Where is the hadith? Who is? It will take forever. Okay, let's see here. This is one hadith. We want the other one. Let us see. Let us use this one. We want to see the number 40 so we can show you this is authentic. We could not find it here. Okay, let's try to do this. Anyway, we showed the hadith 1,000 times before. But let us see if we can find the number. We should find it. Here we go. We found it. Thank God. Is it sahih? It is sahih. It is Sahih. You see, it says Sahih in front of your eyes. It says Sahih, right? Sahih, authentic. So, how many years before Allah created him? Read with me carefully. Do you blame me for a thing, a deed, which Allah had decreed that I should do 40 years before He created me? How many years? 40 years. The other hadith saying what? 50,000 years. Guys, do you have the reference now? Should I give you the link? And actually, we can show the same hadith from different Sahih Muslim as an example here. Here we go. This is Sahih Muslim. So look what we have now. This is Sahih Muslim. This is Sahih Muslim too. It's mentioned in the book of Al-Mishkat, but we can find it in Muslim. You see, it says Muslim, Sahih Muslim. So here it says 50,000 years He created their fate before all the creatures. He recorded their fate. Here it is 40 years. Why people don't have dignity and they don't have honesty? Do you guys have the link? Did admin post the link for you so you can save it? This is the first one. Let me send it to you. And this is the second one. How both are authentic? Any Muslim can answer? How both are in the book of Sahih Muslim? And how Allah created the earth totally before the space for the earth is created? And actually, in the same chapter, this guy who he claimed to be a scientist, or he is writing about the science of Allah, and he quote for us chapter 11. How come he did not mention that the last thing Allah He created, it was the stars in this chapter? Why he jumped to verse number 41:11, but he did not show us verse number 12 and verse number 9 and verse number 10? For they are liars. Somebody saying, Mr. Moonlight, he's saying, I love Jesus Christ. That is intense. The war dream and good for you to have a vision of Jesus. Also in Islam, we were always told not to speak bad of bad dreams is the same as in Christianity. And this guy is, what is that? Is that a Buddhist stone? What a dream! What is that? Yesterday we made a video about how Muslims they insult Jesus every day, but in the chat they say we love Jesus. Muhammad, he said he want to sleep with the mother of Jesus. Is that how you love him? When somebody love you, he want to sleep with your mother? Muhammad maybe, and he is going to sleep with the wife of the Pharaoh, the sister of Aaron. I mean, he love everybody. So Muslims, they cannot answer the stupidity and the pervert prophet. So now what they do, they start playing the victims. You know, we love Jesus. What's wrong? They love Jesus. They love Jesus, they kill Christian. They love Jesus, they burn churches. They love Jesus, they chop your head. They love Jesus, they insult the Holy Spirit. They love Jesus, they made fun of the Bible. They love Jesus, they forbid you to preach the gospel. Do you see how much they love Jesus? This is the kind of love will kill you, literally. I'm speaking to someone, Jesus Christ. I am Jesus Christ. There's somebody, his name, I am Jesus Christ, in the chat, and the admin did not ban him yet. Who is this idiot? He's calling himself as a name. And why the admin did not ban him yet? Yeah, my admin, sometimes they are eating falafel. They are not here. Okay. Thank God I left Islam. Why you left Islam, Daniel? No, no, no. Dan, don't call me, you know. You take us left and right with your topic. Sorry, I don't want to take you now. Hey, Daniel, why you left Islam, my friend? Oh, you are a girl. Okay. Daniel, no, okay. I don't know if you like your picture to be in the screen. Why you left Islam, Daniel? Islam is a great religion. In the heaven of Allah, the Muslim men will have a lot of women in the bed. Allah will take the jealousy of the women, so they will not be jealous, fighting over the male. The man, he will have so powerful private parts. Allah will put you in a tent, and you cannot leave the tent for eternity. How beautiful such a life. All, you know, okay, who is here as a female? Don't, let us be honest here. Who is a female? She don't like to be jailed in a tent for eternity, and her job is just sex. Come on, you know you like it. Look, look here. Look what the Quran saying, brother. And the funny is, Muhammad is still, he imagined that the house of the heaven is tents. Chapter 55, verse number 72. And look at the fast translation. It says, restrained in pavilions. In Arabic, it says, fil khiyam. Khiyam, it is tent. You can copy the word, take it to Google translation in 2 seconds. Al khiyam is a tent. So, in the heaven, brother, it's a beautiful heaven, especially for women and for men. So, Daniel, why you left? Why you left Islam? I left Islam due to how women are treated. The Quran, Hadith has so much lies and deception. Oh, stop. I mean, here you are not right. Hey guys, who agree with Daniel? Obviously, sister, you've been misleaded. Let me introduce to you myself to you. I am from the Dawah channel. Women are very well respected in Islam. As an example, if your husband, he feel like you are rebellion, you say to him, he said to you, made coffee, you did not make coffee, what do you want the husband to do to you? Obviously you are wrong. So your husband, he can beat you. Now, are you saying to me that Islam treated you wrong? No, he is beating you so he can correct you. Man, always he help women in Islam. Women is wrong. How we can correct her? And you know the Quran and the Prophet says beat them lightly, like use your leather belt or miswak. Miswak is a long root, we can beat the camel with it. So we treat you nicely the same as a camel. So listen to me. Your lies is exposed and nobody believe in what you are saying, for Islam treat women very well. This is number one. Number two, okay, your last name is Lee. Do you know that Bruce Lee, after he died, converted to Islam? Me and Bruce Lee, Bruce, may Allah bless his soul. He was a very good Muslim. So Bruce Lee himself, he told me that he practiced. This is how he learned karate. He go to his wives. He have four wives. He break their bones, but he beat them lightly. And this is why he became Bruce Lee. Why? Because he made a bruise on his wife, and his real name is Lee. So like a Bruce Lee, the bruise, like he say, I came to him, he says, hey, wife, show him the bruise, So he showed me the bruise, and then since then I start calling him Bruce Lee. What are you talking about? Like, I mean, Islam is a good religion, and and the husband, he can lie to his wife. Look, in Christianity, if you get married, you can lie to your husband. In Islam, you can lie to your husband. What do you want more? You can go right now, take his credit card, make it empty, do shopping as you wish, and then you come home, you say, did you use my credit card? You say, I swear by Allah, I did not use your credit card. The Prophet, he says, a man, he can lie to his wife, and the wife, she can lie to her husband. So I don't know. I mean, I repent and come back to Allah. Okay, Daniel. Honestly, you are making a big mistake. Even Bruce Lee himself, after he died, he converted to Islam. Once I went to Muslim chat room in PalTalk, and because those Muslims they have obsession, obsession. Honestly, they don't even think. So I typed in the chat. I wasn't choosing my like Christian prince, because I cannot even get in chat room with a Christian prince name. They would go crazy. So I typed, Alhamdulillah, today the Pope third wife and his mother-in-law, who passed away a year ago, they converted to Islam. The what? The Pope and his mother-in-law and his third wife, who passed away, both of them, last year, today they converted to Islam. The one who was speaking in the mic, he said, stop the chat, stop, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Brothers, stop the text. Read with me. The Pope, third wife, and his mother-in-law, who died last year, they converted to Islam today. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Great news, mashallah. And the text went crazy. Everybody, Allahu Akbar, takbir, Allahu Akbar, takbir. I mean, crazy. I mean, this is the stupidity. Just say anything. They take it, they believe it. Just say anything great about Muhammad. So the Pope and his wife, third wife, not the second, not the first. Like, listen, Christian Press is so good in details. Not the first wife, no, brother, no. Not the second wife, no, brother. The third wife and his mother-in-law, who died last year, today they converted to Islam. And then after they went so crazy, one of them, he became a smart. After 5 minutes, he noticed. He gave a dot to the whole chat room. Like, you can stop you from chatting. He said, stop, you idiot, all of you. The guy is making fun of you. The Pope don't get married, and he says here that his wife and his mother-in-law, who died last year, they converted to Islam today. But it was too late. Once the Muslims, I enter a chat room, and they, the second they see my name, they go crazy, and they give me the mic. We challenge you, Christian Prince. Come to the mic. Come. And you can tell the voice of the guy is shaky. So I took the microphone. I said, Prophet Muhammad, he was a wonderful man. He never been accused of stealing underwear. He never lied. He never cheated. He never. And every single Muslim in the chat room was saying, liar, you filthy liar. I said, the Prophet was a good man. Liar. He never slept with a woman beside his wives. Liar. He never been accused that he took an underwear. Because they are not listening. They knew that this is a Christian prince. He will never speak good about Muhammad. So whatever I say, they say a liar. And then the admin of the chat room, he went nut, and he gave them red dot, all of them. He says, you stupid idiot. This guy, he beat us even in our chat room without even debating. We just agreed with him. He told you the Prophet never lie, you said liar. You told you the Prophet never cheat, you said liar. The Prophet never have sex with a children, you said liar. Whatever he said liar. You're stupid. He went crazy and started crying. They don't listen. Liar. Look like when you decide to say the truth, they accuse you of lie too. Muslims. Uh, uh, do we have any Muhammadan want to say anything? Who is here for the first time? Uh, hmm. Do we have any Muslim want to say anything? Anyone? Okay, any half one? Somebody asking me about the Bible study. Okay, you see, the problem is there's many people they can do Bible study, but not many people can do what I do when it's come to Islam, right? So I feel like it's worth to stand in here, exposing this cult more than is like I agree, studying the Bible is very important, but you see here when we refute Muslims, we do like yesterday. We did read many verses from the Bible to refute them, right? So we do it, but not directly. But yeah, maybe from time to time I should go there and we do more Bible study. All right. Muslims have so many classes to learn, but the churches only seem to have a prayer meeting, growth group, sermon. Yeah, but when you say Muslims, they have many classes to learn, but Muslim classes make Muslims leave Islam. As an example, Yasser Qadhi, he have a classes. Those classes, they leak through email. What is the result of the classes? There's holes in the narrative. So when you say Muslim, they have a classes, I laugh. What classes? That the Prophet, he said that when you pray, shaitan fart? What do you mean classes? Shaitan, he take hair from the anus of the Muslim when he pray, and he will not stop until he fart? There's holes in the narrative. The companion, they left Islam. We cannot answer about why the Quran have many different versions and many reading, and we cannot even have one of them. So what the classes? So classes is just a silly statement, because there's no classes in Islam. Classes, you see, like when you go to university, the university, they have books, right? And the books, in order to be taught, it have to be come to an agreement, at least with the board of education. In Islam, there is no such a thing. The same guy, he is a teacher. Like Yasir Qadhi was a teacher for Mimi Hijab, our sister Mimi Hijab. The second he said the truth, they wash their hands from him and they start fighting him, and they want to expose him. But this is their teacher yesterday. Name one person, Muslim, he is not attacked by other Muslim accusing him of teaching false. Go watch their videos. When I'm going to publish by my next book, well, I'm waiting for Jibreel. All right, we will see. Working in it. When it's ready, you will know. However, actually, the one who translated my book, Sex in Allah in Albanian, he sent me a link, but the link was not working, so I was going to correct that, and we will publish it soon. So you guys, those who have friends from Albania, etc., they are Muslims, you can share my books with them in Albanian language. And we translated the book, but the person did extra job to do some correction in the grammar, etc. and we will post the link for you very soon. Yeah, Jibril will give me more information very soon. Any other I think we have enough for today. And as you see, when Muslims they speak about science, we die laughing. The book was speaking about hilarious stuff, like the God who sent an angel to teach magic, Harut and Marut, and science. And look at this stupidity. Suleiman, he have a flying carpet. Suleiman, he controlled the genies and by a ring. And then they speak about science. Can you believe it? Who is the hypocrite here? Who is the liar? And Yasser Qadhi is trying to find where is Gog and Magog. And the Muslim, they try to duct tape. So sometimes Gog and Magog, they are insect. Sometimes they are a scorpion. Sometimes they are a human. Sometimes they are under the ground. Sometimes they are hiding by the hat. There is a magical hat. They wear it. Nobody can see them. Sometimes they are in the 7th floor under the ground. They are trying their best to fix it, but nobody can fix the lie of Muhammad. It's too big. And all of this is thanks to the Jews. The Jews is the one who get Muhammad busted. They came to him. They made him speak all chapter 18, the most hilarious, and chapter 27 is because the Jews, they gave Muhammad a trap, and the stupid Muhammad, he took it, he added to his book. The amazing things that how jinn and human, they can have sex in Islam. When you are a fool, anybody can fool you. Anybody can fool you. Go to, as an example, even in some people who claim to be Christians, they believe in fortune teller, right? They believe in fortune teller. There is Christians who believe in magic. There's a Christians. I mean, they believe in many things, which is from the pagan time. So paganism is really strong in the roots of culture in many nations. But Islam itself is the paganism. Suleiman controlling the world by a ring. Okay, what this ring do? What exactly this ring can do? Suleiman, he go to the bathroom, he take the ring, he give it to his wife because it's haram. Haram to take with the ring of Allah in the bathroom. And then Shaitan, he took the look of Suleiman, like how he can do that? And then he come and he take the ring from Suleiman's wife and he wear it and became the king. And then Suleiman, he lost his kingdom, brother. And then the guy who claimed to be Suleiman, which is Shaitan, he start effing the wives of Suleiman. And the wife of Suleiman, how he discovered that this is not Suleiman? He was so powerful in bed, brother. Never take a break. There again, honey, do you want to take a break? We cannot breathe. No, I cannot. I am on fire. Remember, he's Shaitan, full of fire, brother. So the wives of Suleiman, I mean, how embarrassing to say that Shaitan is effing the wives of a prophet of Allah. Why? Because the Shaitan, he took the ring of the prophet of Allah. I mean, can't Allah add fingerprint to the ring so nobody can be able to activate it? Can't Allah stop the power of the ring after the Shaitan wear it? Okay, we got it. Shaitan, he stole the ring of Suleiman. But can't Allah stop the ring power? Look like this ring, unstoppable. Nobody can stop it. So this is a very stupid religion, and you have to be really mentally ill to stay in it. A guy, he have a flying carpet, can carry 600,000 chairs. Science. Not only that, all his army, which can go all the way from Jerusalem to the end of Persia, all of them, they sit in the right side of the roof, which in the top of the flying carpet. And brother, Sulaiman, he ordered the wind, and the wind go under the carpet, and then he fly one distance of month journey by noontime. Arnold, there is English. Maybe you can search online, my friend. Don't waste my time with those things. Those are easy to find online, sex and slavery. But in the Quran, you have tons. There, you do not need hadith. In the Quran, there's tons of statement encouraging sex with the slaves. As an example, if you go here in the Quran says, "Ma malakat aymanakum." Each time you see, oh, I type it wrong. Each time you see such a statement, the Quran speaking about raping them. Chapter 4, verse number 3. Chapter 4, verse number 24. Chapter 4, verse number 24. It says, it's forbidden for you women already married except your slave, which means even if they are married, you can rape them. Chapter 4, verse 24. And this is the same chapter speak about muta, which means women, Muslim women, they are for rent too. Chapter 4, verse number 25. Chapter 4, verse number 36. Chapter 16, verse number 71. 23, 6. I mean, it's English. You might say now, okay, I don't know what this word in Arabic, this is Arabic. Very easy. Let us click and translate, use the translation. You can, use this. Where is the translation? Here we go. What the heck? You look at the first translation. Malakat aymanakum. It says, and the one already you have. What does that mean? Where is the right hand process? They took it off. Which translation is that? Itani. What a potato, son of muta. Let us change it. Here we go. Now, that the slaves, the captive slaves that your right hand possess. You see it? So you can marry 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can, if as many as you want, excuse my language, from the captive slaves your right hand possess. All right. I think we had enough for today. We have only 800 people today, 813, something like that. Look like the number is still small. Maybe soon more people will start joining us. We did not use this account for long. Maybe this is why not too many. But I hope today we learned something good. And as you see, when Muslims they speak about Islam, Muslims are the last one to listen to them if you want to learn about Islam. And not only that, Western too. Western. Don't listen to Western, especially the liberals. Liberals are stupid people, generally speaking, not everybody. They sponsor Islam because they hate Christianity. Never listen to liberals. Not only that, priests. There's many false, disgusting, satanic priests. They teach lies about Islam. As an example, Islam is Abrahamic. If stupid priest, he says that to you, say to him, how it's Abrahamic? Do they worship Elohim? Do they worship Yahweh? Do they worship the God of Abraham? Isn't it the Bible says, who is the Antichrist or Antichrist? Isn't it the one who denied the Son and the Father? How he can be Abrahamic? Isn't it Jesus, he said to the Jews, and they are Jews, born of a Jews, their mothers, their fathers are Jews. He said to them, if you are the children of Abraham, if you are of Abraham, you do the work of your father Abraham. Jesus says to the Jews themselves, you don't belong to Abraham. So how dare you to say such a thing? So my friend, my warning to you, the Lord, he said, from their fruits you shall know them. And the one who side with the devil, aka Muhammad, aka Islam, aka things against the Bible, he is no Christian, he is no priest. He is a priest of the devil. Be aware of false teachers. They come to you in the clothes of a sheep, but they are false. They are wolves. So the Lord, he warned you. And because you are warned, you have no excuse. When you see a Muslim saying great things about someone he claimed to be Christian, obviously this guy is no Christian. Obviously this guy is not preaching the gospel. Obviously this person have nothing to do with Christ. Do we agree? Because those who follow the Antichrist, how they can praise somebody unless they are in total agreement and they are in one side. If you ever see a Muslim saying good things about me, that's mean Christian Prince is not Christian Prince, the one you know no more. You leave me. You don't listen to me. Never then. There's no way the Muslims will speak good about me. If that ever happened, that is a clear alarm to you that this person is not trustworthy no more. Light and darkness, they cannot be under on one roof, the Lord said. They cannot join together. From their fruits you shall know them. So I hope today we learned something good, and we are happy to our sister Danielle. She left Islam. You know, maybe she can one day explain to us why. She thought about how Islam treat women, but you see, this is not just a reason to, you know, Islam is a stupid cult. It's not just because treating women. I mean, everything about this religion is wrong. What about treating men? Do Islam treat men good? You know, it make the man a stupid idiot. It make him a sex addict. His dream, his goal in life is just to F women, because what? Why won't I go to heaven? Does that make me a better person? Because now all what I think about, I want to die. I want to die so I can go to heaven and women are naked waiting for me. And my private part would be endless. So Islam destroyed the humanity of the man and the women. While Jesus, he came back to us to restore humanity in us, because many of us became animals. You see, in Christianity, in Christ, we believe. Don't call me if you are a Christian. Why people don't listen? In Christ, we are back to our humanity. Without Christ, we are not. A human being, when he is created, he been given a soul and the flesh. That is the animal creation. In Christ, you have the Holy Spirit with you. And what the Holy Spirit will do when the Holy Spirit is with you will restore your humanity to be human again. And a humanity means that we are children of the Father. We go high in the rank, high in the ethic, high in the value, high in the love, to the point we love our enemy. And imagine if the whole world practiced one sentence of Christ. There's no filthy Putin attacking Ukraine, and there's no Turkey attacking the Armenian, killing them, and there is no Muslims killing the Christians, and no Christian will be killing Muslims, and nobody will be killing anyone, if the whole world will be just following one sentence of Christ: love your enemy. One sentence is better than all the books is written about ethic. One sentence can change the world. One sentence is a Bible by itself. When the Bible speaks about you being born again, you're not going to go inside your mother and come back again. Born again by the Holy Spirit, by Christ. You have faith in Christ, the Holy Spirit will be with you and you are born again. So with Christ, my friend, you are a new human. Christ, he restore the child of God in you. In the same time, there's many evil around us, trying to restore the devil inside us, which Christ, he freed you from it. So he come to you with heaven full of sex and slave boys, white slave boys. Everybody will be white. Black are going to be punishment for mankind who disbelieve in Allah. Allah will make them black. Those who believe in Allah, Allah will make them so white. Evil, racism, hatred, violence, sex, money, gold, silver. This is the Quran. What is my promise in the heaven of Allah? Gold. Who want to think about gold in heaven? I mean, even the idea of gold is stupid. If everything is for free, what gold for? Oh, I forgot. Who said that everything is for free in the heaven of Allah? Don't you know that Muhammad, he says, in the heaven, there's a market where there's no buying nor selling except images of men and women? And if a man, he liked the image, he entered the image and he if it. And imagine the image is image of men and women, and the customer is a man. So in the heaven of Allah, homosexuality is a priority. You will go to heaven, he have a bazaar for porn, images, high-tech images. You enter inside the image, you if it. And you are telling me that this is not from the devil? If you see something like this and you think this is good God promising you the good things in heaven, if those things look to you good, I say to you, you are possessed by the devil. A God, he promised me a bracelet. What the heck is a bracelet for? I will wear a bracelet from gold and pearl, and I will wear silk. Are you out of your mind? What? This is the accessories in the heaven? A bracelet from gold and pearls, and I will be wearing silk. Allah will give me women who their vagina never been used and their hymen is never been opened and they never bleed over their thigh. Is that God talking? So when we look at what Jesus he say, we will see the nobility, we will see the amazing teaching, we see the amazing high, I don't want to say the word ethic because this is cannot even ethic can describe it. The wisdom, the love, the nobility, the high spirituality. And look what this guy is talking about. He is describing for us what is inside the women vagina in the heaven, that no genie, no human, he opened it yet. It's a brand new, brother. The wax is still there. How in the world that can be from God? This is a religion of the penis. This is a religion of the vagina. And you know what? Everyone goes where he belongs. The fly go to the garbage, and the bees, they go to the flower. Which one is you? Go where you belong. If you are a person who worship vagina and penises, well, Islam is yours. If you are a person who want to believe in the Holy God, who He can give us happiness, no one can describe, way higher than physical happiness, which is a temporarily. Ask yourself a very simple question. Do you sometimes say, I feel good? It's not like you are just sitting, say you feel good, right? If you feel happy. But you did not do something physical. You hear good news. You feel so happy. Is that true? Your daughter, she passed the exam. Your son is healthy. You know, or the doctor says to you, oh, your son, he have no cancer. You are happy. So there is happiness have nothing to do with physics. There's happiness have nothing to do with food and sex. Higher happiness. Have you ever seen a man or a woman, she is in love with a man, but maybe she never touch him, he never touch her, maybe she never even see him. Have you ever heard of somebody is in love with God, who he never see him, he never touch him, he never been with him? That is the high level above animal level. Otherwise, all what Islam promised you, animals, they have it. Animals, they eat. Animals, they enjoy food. Animals, they enjoy sex. Animals, they enjoy sleeping. Animals, they enjoy playing. They do. So Islam focus on you to stay as an animal. Jesus focus on you to restore you to be a child of God, so you can fit to live in the heaven and the kingdom of God. That's why he said, not everyone says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of my Father, but the one who do his will. And what his will is, be holy like your Father. We commit sin every day. All of us, we commit sin. And we cannot be hypocrite and say, oh, we are not sinners. But there is something different. We as a Christians, we resist, we fight, we struggle against it. As long you are struggling against it, that means still you have a Christ on you. But if the struggle is gone and you enjoy sin and you think sin is the best, then you are far away and you will never enter the kingdom of God. So I pray that the Muslim, they will see the truth and they will stay away from the garbage of Muhammad. And as you see, we challenge the Muslim to call us. Not a single Muslim dare to call. Big mouth in the chat, big mouth in the comment section, but here they are silent. I want to say thank you all for being here, and I hope today we learned something good. And this is your brother Christian Prince, who was serving you for today. In case you are not receiving notification from YouTube, and mostly you don't, you can go to a Patreon. You do not need even to subscribe. You can click at the last link. I posted about videos. I made my videos public for free for everybody. And you will be able, and it's better if you subscribe for free, so you can receive notification from Patreon when we go live, or even before. So I want to say thank you all for being here. And this is your brother Christian Prince, was serving you humbly today, and I hope tomorrow, if the Lord want us to continue. And I will see you soon again. Christ is Lord, and Islam without lies dies. See ya.